Howdy guys, Attorney Walter Hnot. Now I'm a little bit late. I'm super late actually. We're supposed to start at 9:15 and we're actually supposed to start at 8, but I had a hurricane today, and as a result of it, I was spending most of my time cleaning up the entire facility. So bottom line is this is going to be one of the more important videos that I talk about the updates for Social Security benefits, okay? And this is across the entire spectrum, including supplemental security income. Let's get right to them. Let's not waste any time. And keep in mind, as we go through this whole thing, remember, these are the things we know about. We will get to a section where we don't actually know what's going to happen, and I'll let you know at that point. Please remember to like, subscribe, and leave 5-star reviews. Let's get right to it. The SGA bump is one of the big things that a lot of people are expecting. SGA, substantial gainful activity, that's where you can earn over that amount. If you do, then basically you are no longer considered disabled. SGA is element 1 of the 5 elements of disability. If you violate element 1, you can't be found disabled for that month. For the disabled, non-blind, remember, when they look at SGA, how much you can earn, there's the non-blind and the blind category. The non-blind will go from $1,350 in 2022 to $1,470 in 2023. Okay, so there's quite a bit of a jump there. The blind disability SGA amount will go from $2,260 per year, or per month rather, up to $2,460 a month. So another big boost. So to simplify that, just remember the following. If you are a blind disabled person, you're allowed to earn significantly more money per month than a non-blind disabled individual. So if you're trying to be found disabled, pushing for a non-blind, fully favorable approval will allow you to work significantly more, keep significantly more at the end of the day, and do essentially more with money. Now, the trial work period triggering point for those who are trying to work and earn will go basically to $970 earned in a month, right? Up to, for 2023, $1,050 per month for, of course, the next year. Now, please remember that with this whole, trial work period where you get those 9 months to work a bunch and keep your money and your benefits, that's only for SSDI people. That is not for SSI people. SSDI people are Social Security Disability Insurance, which means traditional disability. SSI are Supplemental Security Income individuals, or the Poverty Disability Program that has all the restrictions and financial, basically resource and income restrictions. Now, the next thing I want to go over is the COLA bump. The COLA bump is going to go up to basically 8.7. And why is that important? We all know that the cost of living has gone up significantly. Way more than 8.7, way more than 10, way more than 15. And as a result of that, when you go to the next year, the problem you're going to run into is that essentially you won't have as much money going into 2023. With that said, we were originally expecting, based off the second quarter math, right? Because remember, they use the third quarter to calculate what your cost of living adjustment will be. We were expecting with the second quarter math somewhere for this whole thing to evolve around 10 or 11% increase. But with that said, there was a significant fuel reserve change. Okay, so imagine giant tanks, lots of fuel, diesel, gasoline, oils in general. And what happened was we should be using those for essentially shortages or for war or for things like that. You could think of this massive price increase of fuel as a shortage, but in reality, it's meant for real shortages where it's not just like the companies playing with the White House, but so much where people just can't get the fuel. Unfortunately, those reserves of fuel, a good chunk of them were sold to China, and then a good chunk of them, a massive chunk, especially the diesel, was put into the market to reduce the prices of fuel, which then equated to you guys for the third quarter earnings, getting a calculation that significantly reduced your cost of living adjustment for 2023 down to 8.7%. Now, with this said, expect Social Security beneficiaries to be in a lower standard of living. Be kind towards them, as they will need your help in the future. This includes the retired, disabled, and their family members, such as the widows or survivors, okay? Now, the last largest one with this COLA was in 1981, being around 41 years ago, courtesy of Jimmy Carter. He was kind of the wonder man of inflation creation and continuation. Nixon did his part with this too, and even created the SSI at the same time. Two birds, one stone kind of situation. This will mean a boost of $146 going into 2023 from an average of 1681 up to $1,827 into the next year. Now, with that said, if you're getting retirement of SSDI, if you are basically going to go ahead and receive SSI benefits into 2023, the amount that you'll be getting is significantly less. So the SSDI people, the retirement people, will be getting on average around $146 more, whereas the SSI people will be getting on average around $73 more. So the SSI people will be getting around $841 in 2022 up to $914 in 2023. Now, I'm going to be doing a different video specifically on why your SSDI and retired individuals are seeing a $146 increase versus a $73 increase for the SSI people. The SSI people, they just get screwed over from left to right when it comes to restrictions and income. Okay, now, just so you know, there is this terrible rule that a lot of people know of called the marriage penalty rule. Now, that's what the name ultimately evolved into. They actually had a different name back in the day, but it's no longer relevant. The marriage penalty rule basically has it where two SSI people that are married receive a reduced amount each, totaling in 2022 $1,261, and that is now basically going up to $1,371 in 2023. So basically, this marriage penalty rule means that in 2023, SSI couples will each get $685.50 as opposed to getting both $914 together. So basically, they're getting a significant reduction, and I have no idea. I don't know how anybody would marry anybody that's on SSI, or even how they would live with these new restrictions and rules and the inflation. I just don't know. It's abhorrent compared to essentially the capacity of an SSI person getting $914, which in itself is not enough. Now, we are coming to the last years of a person being able to retire at full retirement age at 66 years old. And remember, they break it down into months. So 66 in 1 month, 66 in 2 months, etc. Soon it will only be those who can fully retire at 67 years. Please keep in mind that politicians will try to push this up to 70 for my generation. Me, I'm on the very, very old, sometimes slightly outside of the old generation of the millennials. So I'm on the way, way far side, the older side of millennials. Now, joke's on them with this whole situation because the retirement trust fund will run out no matter what in 11 years. And joke's on me because I have the opposite of retirement during my elderly years called student loans. And yes, the private ones keep going on if you are old enough to have private student loans, like me. That's how old I am. I'm stuck with them. By the way, the judge just struck down the student loan forgiveness today, recently, just hours ago. No doubt some people will be really happy about this, but just as much emotion will be shared by them when my generation can't afford to pay their retirement, which is going to happen. That's going to happen. Just keep in mind, literally, the chief actuary of the Social Security Administration has it mapped out as to when this is going to come to a difficult scenario where it's not just a reduction because there's no more trust fund, it's just not enough babies. Low fertility rate of my generation means no babies, no workers to pay for retirement. Awesome. And you can tell how many kids I have. Now, the maximum, I have 2 chubby dogs. They're adorable. The maximum retirement will increase for full retirement to $3,627 a month in 2023, being up from $3,345. Remember, there's early retirement 62, full retirement 66, 67, and then maximum retirement, if you can wait that long, at 70 years old. But also remember, a lot of weird things happen. You could get injured. There could be some sort of drug that you've taken that, shortened your lifespan. You could just not be one of those blue zone people that lives to 130. Yada, yada, yada. So you have to weigh your choices when it comes to when you should retire. Now, full retirement earnings exempt test rises from $1,630 to $1,770 in 2023. And if you have reached your full retirement age, the amount rises to $4,710 a month in 2023 from $4,330 in 2022, okay? Now, the maximum taxable earnings, okay, and this is a hot thing. This is a hot toddy thing when it comes to elections, politicians, Democrats, Republicans. This is hot topic specifically for all of these different politicians coming out with bills of a stimulus payment, a fourth stimulus, or a special reduction, or a tax reduction, or this or whatever. This is what it's all about. This is how all these politicians keep coming forward and stating that they intend to pay for these increased benefits or increasing the livelihood, or rather the long-term life of the Social Security program. Now, the FICA tax. What is the FICA tax? You pay it if you are employed, like you're an employee. Your employee, you pay 6.2% every payroll, and your employer pays 6.2%. That's a total of essentially 12.4%. If you're self-employed, you pay the full 12.4%. Now, with that said, okay, the bottom line is that you pay that on all earnings up to, in 2022, $147,000. In 2023, $160,000 and $160,200. Now, here's what you need to know about that. The bottom line is that with that, all these politicians keep promoting ideas that if they go ahead and get rid of the cap, right? So if they just say, well, everybody's got to pay Social Security taxes of 12.4% on all earnings. So if you earn $5 billion, $1 million, $5 million, $50 million, $200,000, you have to pay 12.4% taxes on all of them, no matter what. The problem is this is almost certainly not likely to succeed because it will be found to be unconstitutional, because at the end of the day, there's a direct payment being made by an individual and there is no direct benefit being taken by that individual, meaning that you are paying for government service with no potential, no possibility of getting an actual benefit bump increase. Now, if they were to build it out where you saw pennies increasing it based on the millions and millions that were paid in from those gajillion earners, then yeah, they could do it. They need to be smart about it. They probably won't. Now, with that said, this means that people earning over those amounts, they don't pay the 12.4%. They're not going to be very excited about paying 12.4% on significantly higher earnings. Now, remember, a lot of political donations and things like that come from people of means, and those means mean that they like to keep as much money of what they've earned as possible. So you're not going to see a lot of politicians getting real strong with this because a lot of their political donations come from those people who don't want to see the FICA cap removed so that all income can get the 12.4%. So there will be a battle over that. Now, remember, guys, Democrats are more focused on SSI benefits right now, but they have come out with more bills and more options for decreasing the restriction and increasing the benefits across the map. That's for retirement benefits, disability insurance benefits, and supplemental security benefits, supplemental security income benefits, disabled adult child benefits, widows benefits, and of course, your traditional auxiliary benefits for the children. Now, with this all said, and I want you to keep this in mind because this is important, the Democrats come out with a lot of sometimes crazy, but also really good ideas. They're kind of like the innovation machines. However, their ability to pay for these ideas, their ability to go ahead and finance them is usually pretty bad. So we usually look to the Republicans for some of those details, although the Republicans have been known for trying to go ahead throughout the years and reshape, cut, modify, alter, whatever the benefits. One of the big things, though, that we saw both the left and the right celebrating during the 80s was the Greenspan Initiative. The Greenspan Initiative was one of the major players for readjusting the mathematics for your cost of living adjustment. That's why you get so little extra per year. That's why you've lost about 50% of your benefits from 2000 up to the current date. As a result of that, you should be unhappy. That's why on change.org, I created, and I'll put a link in there, specifically a signature area where you can sign for people who are interested in joining basically a class action lawsuit to get the calculations to be made proper, right? Get the averaging algorithm to be made accurate for those actual increases per year that you should be receiving so that when inflation hits you, it doesn't actually affect you like it will horrifically next year. Now, the Republicans are focused more specifically on retirement benefits. They're not specifically focused on disability benefits or SSI benefits. In fact, SSI benefits have always kind of been like a tinge thing when it comes to Republicans. They don't like to look at it, deal with it, or have anything to go ahead and say about it. Now, with that said, both Republicans and Democrats treat this whole Social Security problem like a third rail, which means if you touch it, you die, which is a terrible situation, but that's what we're dealing with. So at this point, the first thing, of course, that we need to fix is the cost of living adjustment. The next thing we need to fix is a raise in benefits for those individuals. We do have to find a way to better fund retirement going forward, because when that runs out, people are going to lose faith in what's called the American dream, which has largely died. And as a result of that, made us sad. And the bottom line is, those who are receiving retirement right now, whether you're a VA person, whether you're just a person that worked a job, or you have some sort of specialty pension through the police or perhaps firefighters, the bottom line is this: you are the last generation. You are the last group. You are the last people who will get to experience retirement like this. If you're in your 60s right now, you are going to see the end of retirement. If you're in your 70s right now, you might live long enough to go ahead and see the retirement actually reduce your continuation of benefits on a monthly basis. What is my biggest fear? We are starting to see the election results coming in for the 2022 elections. We don't know exactly what's going to come down, how it's all going to play out, etc., things like that, but we have a pretty good idea. For some reason, some of these groups have not realistically been saying what's very true. I don't know why they took forever for Alaska to be basically decided. Alaska was simple. It was two red candidates. But the bottom line is this: there's 35 House seats left in play, and there are 3 Senate seats left in play. Democrats 48 for the Senate, 49 for the Republicans. For the House, it's Democrats 191 and 209 Republicans, with 35 left in play. Bottom line, there's an expectation that the Senate could go Democrat or Republican. We don't really know yet, but it's probably going to lean left, but we don't know yet. It could lean right. They do a recount, could change everything, right? We just don't know. As for the House is expected so far, from what I've seen in a couple of articles, to lean basically to the right, being Republican. You're going to be seeing a lot of articles about people making fun of the red wave and things like that. I don't think there was a massive red wave. I think what there was like a small red title change, right? A title change, maybe. That wasn't that big. I think that would be a more appropriate way of approaching this. Now, with that said, the biggest fear that I have, because that's what most people want to know from somebody with my perspective, we have some good players in there. The best player of all is the Commissioner for Social Security, being Commissioner Kijikazi. She listens to what the attorneys are looking for. She listens to what the reps on the Hill are looking for. She listens to what the claimants are trying to get. She listens to basically what the SSA personnel are upset about. She's making a lot of great moves. She's changing a lot of things that we've all been asking for decades. So to be direct with you, the number one asset that you guys have on the Social Security field that's inside their system is the commissioner. She's doing an amazing job. Now, with that said, if there's a Republican president in 2024, expect them to go ahead and probably replace her with some other candidate, because the new rules were set when Biden replaced Commissioner Saul. You remember, Commissioner Saul had a 6-year gig, and the expectation was that, they weren't really supposed to remove him. Then they did a legal analysis, a little bit of a, how is this all going to play out? And they kind of decided that that individual is kind of a cabinet pick to some quasi degree. I mean, that wasn't the ultimate final whatever, but that was kind of the way it came out. So expect basically that the best asset, if there were a President Trump 2024, that we might lose that particular person. Now, with that said, you don't know who Trump would pick, but Commissioner Saul, who he originally put in, would not be a great pick. Also, keep in mind, there was the issue of him just kind of picking people that he's buddies with. That was a big thing, right? As opposed to people who come from that industry. Commissioner Saul was not a pick that was a good pick for Social Security. He was a for-profit, aggressive, go, mall business mogul type of individual who owned the old cachet stores. Mega money. Bottom line is, he was not a good option. He didn't come from that industry. In reality, he shouldn't have been in that job. But, when you become president and you're not really a politician, you kind of pick the people you like and you put them in and then you do what you're going to do. And that's fine. That was a new thing. I don't think Trump was a Republican. I don't think Trump was a Democrat. Ultimately, he flipped the coin and went Republican. And then he ran out the thing like that. He could have picked Democrat and the Republicans would have been attacking him. That's how politics, unfortunately, have come down the line. But that's okay, because the focus is to prepare and be aware of what exists and what's going to happen. Now, with all that said, if you guys could remember to please push the like button and remember to subscribe and leave 5-star reviews. Right now in the chat section, I'm going to put the 5-star review link, which I just tested and it does work. And then I'm also going to go ahead and push the class action link. And here's the deal, and I want to make this very clear. I have not had a chance because second hurricane. And remember, guys, I left for New Jersey directly after Hurricane Ian. I came back, voted, and then the next day, which was yesterday, the hurricane started, Hurricane Nicole. So I've just been battered, whether it's Hurricane Ian, going to the farm to work for 3 weeks, doing hard labor after my 9 to 5, and then all the weekends, and then coming back here and getting hit with Hurricane Nicole. So if I look tired and a little beat up, that's why. Now, with that said, for all of you guys who are wondering, the doggies are doing amazingly well. They are chubby. Whenever I send them to Fort Lauderdale to hang out at my sister's, they get chubby, but they're very well loved, and that's a good thing. Now, final note before I start taking phone calls, and this is important. We are now transitioning to this part of the show where I take phone calls from people who have questions. Usually, they're questions from people who are already represented by disability attorneys, but they can't get a hold of their disability attorney, or the disability attorney doesn't know the answer to it, etc. Sometimes I know the answer, sometimes I don't. That's fine. With that said, we do have people calling throughout the week who are being rude and mean to the back office staff. As you know, I work at a disability law firm called Disability Resolution PA. It is a disability resolution law firm. Please, 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 throughout the week, during the 9 to 5, remember that that is the time for us to work with the clients, right? For example, those we are fighting with to go and obtain disability benefits or to re-obtain disability benefits. They lost them and now we have to get them back for them. With that said, if you call up during the 9 to 5, I've instructed all the staff to just politely say, hey guys, call in on Thursday. I'm going to try and answer as many questions as I can tonight. And then remember, another thing too, if you call in tonight with an anonymous phone number, I can't call you back. So to the person who called me this week and yelled at me and said I had to call him back, you have an anonymous number that you called in with. I can't call you back. So stop calling in with anonymous numbers. That way, if you want me to call you back, I can call you back. Cool. We're going to go ahead and begin the process and get rolling, and we'll go from there. Here's the phone number real quick, 407-279-1754. That's the phone number you can use to contact me. I'm going to go ahead and begin the process of setting up this lovely little device right here. That way we can get the phone on there and be happy and ready to roll. Give me about 1 second to just set this up. My apologies. I did spend the majority of the day out there working on trees and working on all the damage that the hurricane did. Now, with that said, I've got my phone ready, and we can now go ahead and begin taking calls. Whoever would like to go ahead and basically be the first caller, don't be afraid, don't be scared. We're going to get this rolling. Once again, I'll put the phone number in. That's the phone number you call for me to answer any questions. I'm going to try and answer as many as I can. All right, here's the first caller coming in. Let's see if we can get this on the line. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to go ahead and mute your computer on your end. And then can I go ahead and answer a question for you? Or would you like me to go ahead and run hearing questions with you?
I have a question for you. I'm not sure if you can answer it or if you've heard anything from people on your end.
Mm-hmm.
You know how they did the child tax credit and anyone could get those payments like within a certain income or whatever. Well, all I receive is Social Security, disability, and my daughter as well. And I didn't get all the payments originally before I had to file taxes. I only got 3 months worth, but they were so I got 3 payments of $400. Okay. Which is $1,200. So we were supposed to get 15, and then the remaining when we filed taxes. And I only received the 15. They didn't, even though I put that I didn't get that, like 1 payment's worth. And they said it's based on my. They kept telling me when I called that it's based on my income tax from the previous year, and I said, yeah, but I don't usually file taxes, so I don't make anything. And I just didn't know if you had heard of anyone else that's on disability or anything like that, not receiving the full amount for that reason.
So, this is falling. So basically, the first thing that I would say is this, a lot of people who are on SSI do not go ahead and obviously pay taxes because what's the point? It's one of the situations where, So that's why I've had other attorneys say to me, well, I don't think SSI people should have to pay or file taxes, yada, yada. That is why I always say to people, make sure you file your taxes, because you at least give them an up-to-date address, even if you're not going to be giving them any money. And usually they are giving you, to some degree, a small amount of money. But bottom line is this, I haven't heard a lot of issues with that situation, so I wouldn't know specifically, but the first thing I would do is reach out to your local field office for the IRS to see what's on their account. Now, there's also another thing. You can log into your IRS account and specifically see, essentially what they've processed, what's going on. And you can...
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good.
I did. And I've been hung up on twice after waiting on hold for like half a day by the IRS. So I wasn't sure where to go from there.
So when they hung up, were they just being aggressive, or was it that they weren't willing to answer the question?
No, they were just, they answer the phone all day and have a bunch of questions that they can't answer to begin with. So,
yeah,
they just get over it.
My best recommendation is to go grab an accountant and go ahead and ask them to go through the IRS transcript files. Because, there's those 4 little groupings that they have on the website that you can download. And then basically from there, see what you're due, and then have them file a supplemental request filing to go ahead and request additional funds for you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's like, I didn't ask for it, They decided to give it to us. So shouldn't have to fight that hard for it.
Yeah.
All right. And then, my other question was, when I filed appeals for overpayments for Social Security, because they said I got money that I didn't actually receive for myself and my daughter. Now I filed 3 appeals in the same day. I went in, I kept the ticket from, like you tell us to do, keep the ticket if you go in to drop something off or stuff like that. One of the appeals showed up, but the other one, one for my daughter and one of the appeals for myself, they're taking money out, and apparently the appeal didn't get filed. Is it just, I thought they couldn't take money out until the appeal was finalized, but if they're saying they didn't get it and I dropped all 3 off at the same time, is there any way I can go about defending that? Or I have the paperwork that I gave them, and I kept the ticket and I record when I go there. So I don't know what else, how do I go about?
So a couple of things there. When you have the ticket response, does the ticket show whatever the appeal document was, whether it was a 561 or 789, whatever the document was, does it show a receive date on it for each one of those documents?
No.
Okay. So one thing, and this is a side note, for those people who have attorneys that help them out with this stuff, always send it to the attorney and have them send it into the ERE. We get to direct upload stuff into their system. But for those who don't have one, the main thing you've got to do is basically get them to stamp a copy of it, or they can bring you a copy that is stamped. And it has a little stamp thing, and when they stamp it, received on such and such date. That's crucial.
Okay. They do that there? I didn't know that they did that. Okay.
Yeah, but you have to ask them usually for it, because the older people will do it, the younger people won't do it. There's another problem.
Yeah, Health and Human Services does that. So I always have them do that, but I didn't know they did that Social Security now.
They did it back in the day, but here's the new thing. 1 in 8 individuals working at the local field office quits or gets fired. So the bottom line is, a lot of people basically, it's all new training, all new people. They don't have enough people. There's a massive influx of applicants. So the bottom line is, the way it's supposed to go, we're getting kind of the quick, fast, and easy version of that right now. So another thing that you can do is basically request that they go ahead and print out a statement of the documents that they received. Once again, that's something they used to do, but that's not something that a lot of them do now, because it takes time to make the list. But the thing they'd probably be willing to do is, if you brought in a copy of everything, stamp it with the receive date with the Social Security Administration stamp.
Okay, so then how can am I screwed for those appeals, or is there any way that I can?
No, so what you're going to go ahead and do so what you're going to do is you're going to send in the appeal documents again, but attach a 795 document to it, which is a statement of claimant. And you're going to put on there, attention manager of local field office. And then you're going to explain the situation as to what happened, and explain how you submitted them all at the same time, and explain what evidence you have. But remember, when you record this stuff, you have to be careful, because when you record it, for a lot of SSA activities, they reserve the right to be the only recording agent on the transaction.
Yeah, we're a two-party state, so I always tell them that I'm reporting.
But remember, it's not just state, it's also federal, because you're dealing with a federal agency.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to have to see how your specific state deals with that, because sometimes there's these extra rules, sometimes there's not. So just look into that. I don't know which state it is, but just look into that.
That's crazy, because you'd think like something like that, they would, let it go either way because they want to be held accountable for, any wrongdoing. But
well, keep in mind, the famous thing is they say that they are going, that they are recording it, for their, whatever, managerial review and such quality and service. But the reality is they're recording it for, basically their protection, and then they have the only recording. But, we have judges where the judge will say something on file during a hearing where they screwed up or said something that could hurt their career. And then all of a sudden after the hearing, within, 25 minutes to a couple of hours, what happens is basically the recording, it gets erased. And
then, like my entire file just got lost when they transferred over to digital, and I'm like, oh, that's funny how that happened.
Right. And so as a result of that, the reality of the bottom line is that, look, the people that have worked there the longest know the games to kind of fix the issues that pop up that might hurt them. So just be aware of that. A final thought too is that you can always go ahead and mail this stuff into the SSA. And
I will this time because
but that won't assure that you're basically. But what you can do as well is if you can mail at the same time a duplicate package showing a printout of all the documents that are in that, and then bring it to the SSA office and open it in front of an SSA rep to prove that these documents were mailed at the same time, like mailing another one to yourself and mailing that same thing to the SSA, then you can prove before an SSA local field office rep the timeline, which is what this is all about, that those documents were received on time. Now, there's another thing too, which you should look into, which is if it's one of those situations where you have to extend the 60 days for appeal, you should look at the statute for what's called 404.911. 404.911 allows you to extend the 60-day appeal period out further into time. And so if you make it 90 days, 120 days, 360, the farther you go out into time, the harder it is to validate the reason for it. So if this all just happened, you can submit notification and reasoning based off of the 404.911. And there are subsections within that rule specifically for your type of appeal.
Okay, and that's what 404.911?
Yeah, exactly. That's the statute you want.
And then the form you said was the 795, correct?
Yeah, SSA 795 PDF. Just pop that into Google and it'll pop up.
Okay.
It's a statement of witness. A statement of claimant. You go ahead and print it out, write out your story. Print out multiple copies, write out the first one, go ahead and rework it, then write out the second one.
Okay, and then I had told them, because they started taking the money out already, and I was planning on them doing the appeal and not having to get any loss of funds until after the appeal. So I said, when I told her that, she said, no. She's like, they just don't take out the full amount until, and I said, no. And then I thought if you're on a means tested program, you can submit something so that they only take out $10. And they said, no, that's not a thing. So what do I just do? Submit something in writing, a written statement saying I'm on a means tested program and for in the meantime, or how?
Give me the timelines of this. Like, how did this all come down?
What was that?
Give me the timeline on this thing. How did this all come down, and when did things have to be in?
I submitted the documents, what was it? In September. It was towards the end of the 60 days. And then they just took it out of my check this month. And one of them showed up on my online account as being appealed, which is the big one for like 4,000. The other two were only 1,000, but they're taking out for those too.
Did you do your 632 form submissions to go ahead and seek waiver? Because anything under $1,000 or even up to $1,500 nowadays, they usually waive.
I submitted a waiver because they told me I should submit them at the same time as the appeal. So I did a waiver as well, but I never heard back about anything.
Okay. Do you know who your representative who is handling your claim file for this is?
What was that? Sorry.
Do you know who your representative at the local field office is who's handling the overpayment?
I wasn't aware that I had one.
Yeah, so they always assign a particular person for these overpayment claims. You might want to call into the local field office. Which state are you in?
New Hampshire.
Okay, so in New Hampshire, all right. Do you have the specific local field office phone number?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Call them up, ask them who the rep is and their extension number. It should be a 5-digit extension number. If they give you a 4-digit, that means it's with DDS, but it should be a 5-digit
Okay,
extension
the person
number.
that's on my, it says like Sam or something on my, when I moved and I updated my information, is that my person or?
Well, no, if you moved and updated, no. That's just for like basic contact update stuff.
Okay.
For overpayments,
okay.
they usually assign a specific person that knows how overpayments work. They're
Oh.
like a special division within the local FO. And sometimes they send it outside of the local FO if there's just too much traffic in the local FO.
Okay. And when I called the 800 number, they said that they're busy and it probably just hasn't gotten put in the system yet. And I said, yeah, but they're already taking money out. So
No, it wouldn't be the 800 number. Hold on. Let me see if I can find you the specific phone number. Let's see. Okay, what's your zip code?
03301.
Okay, so the phone number specific to that Concord, New Hampshire location is 888-397-9798.
What was it? 397?
397-9798. And remember, if you can't get them to make this stuff go through or happen or get contact on it, you have to reach out to your regional field office, who will have a rep that can reach out to local field office. They'll nudge them, look at the field office to get moving on it.
Okay, and what is that office? Is that
basically,
the Inspector General or?
Yeah, so what you do is you type into Google SSA Regional Field Office. You're all the way up north east, so we're talking like Boston Regional Office. Yeah, so your main contact would be Lauren.Wilkins. So it's Lauren, again, Lauren Wilkins, Wilkens, at ssa.gov. You'd shoot her an email and basically ask her to, step in and go ahead and assist with the local field office issue.
Okay. And so is that a real thing, though, the $10, that they can only take 10 if you submit something? Or? So
you get to negotiate what your monthly repayment amount is. Could be $10, could be $100, could be $200, could be $500 a month. But your main goal is to try and get a reduction, kill off the 1,000 ones, and then get that 4,000 down to 2K, and then just do a reduced amount per month. Could be $10, could be $50 to go ahead and pay it off in whatever short period of time you want.
Yeah, all of them are invalid. They shouldn't have been overpayments. So.
Yeah, it's a 6-3-2 game. Then you're going to seek overpayment waiver on all. Yeah.
Now, do they have to reimburse me for the amounts that they've taken out if it comes back that my appeal went
they
through?
Reimburse you. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it'll take 6 months, but they'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And they only do it in sums now, correct? Like 1,500 or less, or something like that. If it's more than that they have to pay me back.
Wait, say that one more time.
If I remember when I originally got approved and I got my back payment, it was all in one check. But when I gotten them since then, it's in like 2 separate payments because it's too much money or something.
Oh, okay. So you're SSI. So the way it works is, and a lot of people get confused with this, you get your back pay in 3 checks, up to 3 checks for SSI. You get your first 3 months worth of back pay. Then you get, after 6 months, another 3 months worth of back pay. And then after 6 months, the remaining amount that's due to you. They do this for a lot of reasons. Oh yeah, go ahead.
So that we can't actually get anything of value that is worth it to us, and so that
well, it's that argument
over the limit of the $2,000.
It's that argument, and also look, I've had I don't know a ton of SSI claimants, a ton and a half of SSI claimants. When people have not had money, they don't know how to spend money, and when they don't know how to spend money because they haven't had money, they blow money fast, and I mean real fast. I mean like Las Vegas fast. So the reality is they're trying to slow down the output. That's the rule that they don't tell you about. The thing they tell you about is, basically they're trying to go ahead and, make it so that the government has to spend less and such a quick, output. Another thing they'd say is that, this distribution is something that, helps. There's a lot of arguments, but the one that they don't usually go into.
But that's even the case if it's money that they were supposed to give you and they didn't because of an error on their part.
Well, no, if there's an error on their part, they owe it to you. But remember, they'll still put it into the account to have the three checks, and then the last one, the remaining amount. Yeah. But remember, you can bypass that all with an emergency allowance. You can notify them that you have to buy a camper, a car, a truck, or whatever, and then boom, have the sheet that says how much it is, and they'll release
to live in, because I got kicked out of my place waiting for you guys to get.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. You have a wonderful, wonderful night.
You as well.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, we got another call real quick. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot, Disability Resolution PA. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Also, would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to go ahead and run hearing questions with you?
I just got a question. In August, I have been receiving the full amount of my SSI ever since 2000.
Okay.
And I had gotten a new place in 2012, which I still received the full amount.
Okay.
Now they did a review on me, basically, to actually and then because I get money from my dad,
mm-hmm.
and about $300, and basically they have not been kind yet. But actually, the problem is they cut my check from 841 to 560.67, and we didn't appeal because we thought that they were going to raid our bank account, raid my bank account.
Okay, so here's the bottom line. They applied to what's called the 1/3 reduction rule, or it's also called the in-kind support and maintenance rule. And that's where if somebody's assisting you, they're allowed to reduce your benefits by 1/3. And what that means basically is that when they reduce your benefits by 1/3, you kind of end up in a financially crappier situation. This is, in my opinion, the most harmful SSI restriction rule. It's one that should be gotten rid of immediately. Now, with that said, if you didn't appeal in time, that brings up some issues, but I do have a way that you can get around it and get back up to your 841. You'll email me at some point, and then I'll email back to you what's called the SSI loan agreement. You'll use that to sign a loan with the individual that's helping you with funds, and then you'll agree to pay him back at some point. And when you agree to go ahead and pay him back, they can't say that he's giving you the money because he's loaning you the money. You will have the chance to pay him back or have him forgive that loan in the future. So email me at the business email and ask for the SSI loan agreement. I'll send it right over to you.
So it is the SSI loan. What's your email?
The email is WRH@disability. So it's WRH@disabilityresolution.com. Again, WRH@disabilityresolution.com.
Okay, I'll ask for that loan agreement.
Perfect, sir. Sounds good. And I will catch you a little bit later. Have a wonderful, wonderful night.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You're the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
for taking my call.
Of course. All righty. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay, so there are 14 missed calls within just that period of time. So let's go over here to voicemails. Oh man. All right, so here we go. We're going to hit accept and speaker. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot, Disability Resolution PA. Remember to go ahead and mute your computer on your side. Use a fake name. Would you like me to answer a specific question or?
Hello?
Yep. Howdy, good sir. Would you like me to run hearing questions with you? Go ahead.
Yes. Hey, I have a question for you.
Sure.
How long is the wait to see an ALL administrative law judge in the state of Florida?
So in Florida, it's taking around, I would say, 10 months to 14 months at the initial filing level. It's taking around, I would say, 6 to 9 months maybe 12 months at the reconsideration level. And then it's usually taking anywhere from 3 months to 12 months to see an administrative law judge. And what you do is you stack each one of those. So it takes
Okay,
what,
my second question is,
sure.
if I decide to get it to right now for SSI,
I can't hear you. Say it again.
will I be able to still make some type of income?
Yeah, if you're an SSI, basically, if you're making income, there's the $65-$20 rule. So for the purposes of answering this question, we'll just combine them. The first 85 you earn, it's not going to hurt you. It doesn't count against you per month. Every $2 you earn above that, they take away $1 from your benefits. So you kind of have to weigh and balance how much you want your benefits to be reduced by you working and earning.
Okay.
All right. And remember, there's the SGA limitation. You earn over $1,350 in 2022, then basically, you're no longer eligible for disability benefits. But remember, 2023 is around the corner, which means that's going to raise from $1,350 up to $1,470 in 2023.
Okay, that's all I want to know, because I was told that there's like a 12.5-month waiting period.
Oh no, it's way longer than that. Yeah, it's so when you first file, you have the initial filing level, then the reconsideration level, and then the ALJ hearing level. So the bottom line is that you basically have to go through each one of those appeals. You have to, file, get denied, go to reconsideration, get denied, and then go to the ALJ hearing level. So you're looking at basically, the initial filing level is taking forever right now, but it's looking like anywhere from, to give you quick numbers, 12 months, 7 months, and then another, let's say 8 months. You add those up, and basically you end up with how much time you probably have to wait to go in front of a judge.
Okay, not a problem. Thank you.
Absolutely, good sir. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you, good sir. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, so real quick, Jars of Clay, thank you so much for the $5 donation. I really, really appreciate it. That's just super awesome. And guys, thank you so much for the donations, because the restoration of the farm was just super expensive, and I don't actually make profit off of it. All that income goes to my parents. So, all right, let me go to the next incoming caller. Here we go. Let me go ahead and call this person real quick. Here we go. Excellent. Let me see if I can get this on speakerphone. It is connecting. And let me see if I get this person on the phone. 1 second.
Hello?
Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot, Disability Resolution PA. Remember to go ahead and use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer a question, or would you like me to run hearing questions with you?
I have a question.
Sure, good sir. How can I help you?
I was wondering who could access the back pay once you're approved for it.
So are we talking SSI or SSDI?
SSI.
All right. So for SSI, expect, you get the 3 months worth of a check, you wait 6 months, 3 month of a check, you wait 6 months, you get the rest of it. But the bottom line is this: the only people who can really access it are essentially you, the claimant, and any other person that would be a payee on your claim. So, for example, if you have somebody that was required to be set up on your claim as a payee, somebody they pay the funds to and then distribute to you, then they could go ahead and tap into those back pay benefits early by using an emergency release allowance.
Okay, what about like creditors or student loans?
No. SSI is actually really cool in this way. This is one of those trial tactics where sometimes I tell people, look, you're going to not want SSDI benefits, but you're going to actually want SSI. If you've got really bad loans, if you've got really bad, and this is a sad thing to say, but really bad, child support payments, alimony payments, stuff like that, and you just can't afford to, pay out money, you need your base costs, then if you're on SSI, none of that stuff can be taken out of it. However, there's a caveat. When they first pay you those funds, they're protected on a Direct Express card, okay? But the moment you remove those funds from that Direct Express card and put them into just a general bank account, at that point, creditors could try and attach to them. But the initial fund transaction, where you're receiving the funds from the government, those are protected by law.
Okay, so if you have a bank account and you're getting direct deposits from SSI, the creditors still could take that from your account?
No, they can't. Well, they can only tap into it if you've moved funds from your Direct Express card into a general account. And the whole point there is that once you've moved them into a general account, they can usually try and tap into them. That's why a lot of people on SSI with loans and things like that just keep it on a Direct Express card, and then they pull it from that green debit card from a Cali bank and use the funds that way. But the bottom line is, once you make the funds available into the wide world of banking, then they can try and attach to them because they're no longer protected by the SSI bubble. Now, technically, your SSI benefits are not supposed to be taken, okay? Because, they're not supposed to be used in any fashion other than to keep you alive for the month. But when they go into the wide world, people can attach to them. And that's something that a lot of people don't write articles on, but that's how the real world plays out.
Okay, so if I opened up a bank account, I never got a Direct Express card, but I opened up an account. How would I go back to? Is it possible for me to get a Direct Express card, or how would I go about getting it where it has that protection on it?
So you can contact the local SSA field office and request that they switch you over from direct payment over to a Direct Express card.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Well, that was my question.
Excellent.
I appreciate you. Thank you for your help.
Thank you, good sir. Well, you have a wonderful, wonderful day. I will catch you a little bit later.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So Jimmy asked, is SSDI the same rule? No. Creditors can attach to child support. Alimony can attach to SSDI benefits. So the same rule does not apply for SSDI benefits. Let me go ahead onto the next caller real quick. Here we go. Let's see if we can get him on the line. Oh, he's a little bit dicey. Maybe we can. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot, Disability Resolution PA. We got you on the line. Please remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer questions, or would you like me to go ahead and run hearing questions with you?
I just want to ask you a stupid question, Walter.
Sure, good sir. How can I help you?
You probably answered it 1,000 times. I'm coming up on 63, and I've been on SSDI for like 10 years. Is there a difference between the two if you turn majority or retirement age?
So here's the kicker. SSI benefits are supposed to auto-convert you to retirement at 62. But if you're a hybrid program, it gets a little bit stickier, because if you're SSDI, SSI, then the SSDI benefits are supposed to take you all the way up to basically your 66, 67 full retirement age. So the bottom line is, what you're going to be seeking is a transition onto essentially the Title II benefits off of the Title 16 SSI. And they'll try and transfer you and remove you off of the SSI benefits. Now, I'm assuming you do have retirement available to you, right? You have your 40 quarters?
Yes, sir. I've been on SSDI for 10 years.
Oh, so there's no SSI. It's just SSDI?
Yes, sir. And the reason I belong to the Senior Citizen Center, and we were talking about it, batting around, if I'm glad that you're a lawyer, because I get my eyes roll back to the back of my head when I start reading all the rules you have to do.
Sure.
And coming up on 63, I guess there's no difference between my SSDI benefits or retirement.
So there are little differences, but usually the amount is pretty much the same. So you will ride SSDI benefits all the way to 66, 67 when you reach your FRA, full retirement age. And at that point, you'll transition over to retirement. Keep in mind, the SGA limitations will disappear. All those little income restrictions will disappear when you go into full retirement. So keep in mind, they're similar, but there's little differences. Being on retirement at full retirement age is better than being on disability benefits. There's traditional SSDI benefits.
Gotcha. Well, shalom, and thank you very much for all you do for us.
Yeah.
You don't get paid enough, and I don't see how you get the energy to do it.
I'm so tired right now. Like, I'm literally, I drank this giant tea in this beer glass because I had to keep going, but I've been cutting trees down, and a tree fell on my neighbor's like super old mother's house. I didn't even get to it yet, and I feel bad because like there's a tree on her house. So I'll get to it probably tomorrow. But I think tomorrow is Veterans Day, so the bottom line is like I should. I'll still be doing but anyways, good sir. Yeah, you have a wonderful night, and thank you.
Well, keep that glass in full view because we'll wonder what you're doing with it since you drank all that tea.
Indeed, good sir. Well, sounds good sir. I will catch you a little bit later, and thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. I'm going to grab the next call real quick, guys. Give me 1 second. Let me see on here. Here we go. And click and speakerphone, and we should be good to go. Yeah, I had one of those lemon teas that I always have, that particular brand. I think it's like Pure Tea or something like that.
Hello?
Howdy, Madam. Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to go ahead and run hearing questions with you?
Elizabeth.
Perfect. So what is your question?
Okay. I'm 66 and whatever months, Yeah. I'm still working full time.
Okay.
Full time. And I'm anticipating my October payment and my November payment on the 16th of the month. The thing is, being still working, right? Taxes. And I've been working kind of like a slack job now, so I'm only making like 32 a year. But I'm thinking of going back to where I used to work, like in the insurance industry, and making like $56,000 a year.
Sure.
Before I kind of stop working. How much money can I make, and should I put a couple of checks aside for the taxes on the money?
Well, the direct answer is yes. There's still taxation that will occur above a certain amount. That's a huge question. And there's a lot of little parts to it, because not only is there the part of your transition, whether are you going to retire at your full retirement age, the year before? What's the goal here?
No, I'm full retirement age.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting 100%.
Okay.
In my first two, I should have gotten a check in October. Well, I filed and it takes them a while, and I'm going to get 2 checks in November, on the 16th.
Okay.
And then, of course, since I was working also, dang it, I was working. So when I signed up for the Medicare, right? So they sent me a bill for Medicare for $490 some odd and whatever cents, right? So I paid that, and then I signed up for a supplement and whatever. But then they sent me another bill, so then I sent them another $490 some odd and what odd cents. And so they were taking my supplement out of what I sent Medicare. So now I'm overpaid in the Medicare. So when I called Social Security and I said, now I'm going to be receiving I'm sorry. That's wrong. So when I signed up, for my Social Security, because I'm of age, of my legal age to get it, like 100%. I said, well, what's going to happen to my overpayment? I mean,
are they going to pay
you
that?
just going to continue taking it from my overpayment, or
Right.
are you going to start taking it from Social Security? I mean, what's going to be going on? Because I thought maybe I'll work a little longer before that, but I need the money now. I need a new HAVAC system. You know how that kind of crap goes.
Right.
But anyway, so they said, no, they're still taking it from the Medicare. But then I called Social Security, and then Social Security told me Medicare's gonna give me the money back. And I'm like, well, what's going on here? It's like, you're gonna owe me like over $600.
Right.
I'm like, what's going on here? One says they're gonna just keep taking it out of there The other one says I can reduce my monthly payment. I'm like, I don't know.
Okay, so there's a lot of complications to this. Also, would this be an individual tax filing? Would this be a joint return tax filing? Because, so are you married?
Oh, I'm a widow.
Okay, so it's an individual. So, all right, first off, classic rule that applies. All right, let's do this. That's a much bigger question. That's going to take me a while to explain all the ins and outs. Shoot me an email with it. And then what I'll do is I'll pull it, print it out during the week, and then I'll go ahead and answer it during the next show. And so just do me a favor, text me before we start the next Thursday show. Like, just shoot me a quick text at this phone number. And then from there, I'll specifically print out your email and we'll go through it on a step-by-step. And that's all if I don't get a chance to just shoot you back an email quickly. But make sure you put in there, widow, filing a tax return as an individual, full retirement age, earnings expected to be in the 30s and then raised to the 50s. And then also put in there.
That's what I'm afraid of,
Yeah. Also put in there if there's any weird pension stuff with prior law enforcement, firefighters, stuff like that. If there's any offset stuff that I need to worry about. There's a lot of things with that situation that just shoot me an email with the details and then I'll ask you for more details.
Okay, will do.
Perfect. Sounds good, madam?
No, because I'm so worried about taxes.
Yeah, no, I hear, and that's the thing that always blows me away is that they would even have taxes.
How much am I allowed to make this year? Because I'm only going that maybe 33,000.
Well, keep in mind, the bottom line is if you're full, retirement age, you run into the, so you're looking at the 25 to 34,000 range, which means 50% of the benefit could be potentially taxed as a federal tax on them on the retirement benefits.
Only 6%?
So basically, yeah. Then it raises. Remember, over 34K.
Oh, and that's not a lot of money. That's like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's only like about $5,000. So, yeah, I can figure out from my paychecks or whatever how much I would owe. So, yeah, I could just put the money aside to pay it when it comes due.
But remember,
the thing is, I claim zero when I work.
Yeah. Remember, there's tax offsets too.
I claim zero, so I let them take everything they want, and then I claim myself at the end of the year.
Right. There's other things that you can claim as offsets. There's other things also that have happened with COVID that can help you depending on what industry you're in. Although I have a question, which state of the tri-state area are you from?
I'm not tri-state. I'm in Hillsborough County. I just did the hurricane today.
Like me.
From home. I didn't lose power or electricity.
Yeah, same gig. Now, but where did you originate? Because you're not from Florida.
New York.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you sound like all of the family members on my mother's side. That's
okay. Well, you know what? I moved here when I was 12, and I'm 66 and plus months.
Wow. Yeah, you know what that is? It's just we all have, people tell me I have a New Jersey accent, and but yeah, no, you totally have a New Yorker accent. But that's amazing. You moved here when you were 12, and it must be the family members. Everybody kept the accent,
I don't know. You can take the girl out of the city, but you can't take the city out of the girl.
That's how it is. Let me tell you. But shoot me that email. I will catch you a little bit later, and we'll go from there. Yeah.
All right. I'll email you tomorrow while I'm working from home.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, you have a wonderful night.
All right. Thank you so much for taking my call. I so appreciate you, and you are a wonderful person.
Thank you. Excellent. You have a wonderful night. I'll catch you later, and all the best with your storm preparation and handling, because I don't know about you, that thing hit me hard. I actually had a trash can end up in the waterway, and then I got into the waterway to go get the trash can, saw this giant fish, thought I was going to be eaten alive. And then I flipped the trash can over, got into the trash can, and just sat there and waited myself with the trash can basically over to the dock. And it turned out to be a chubby dolphin. So it all worked out.
Oh, my son right now, he was activated. He's Army National Guard, right?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Good.
It's not a good job. He makes $110,000 a year. When he gets activated, he makes $80 a day, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Anyway, So they activated him, but this big, I have a big oak tree in front of my house. I had this huge limb fall on my roof, so I have to wait for him to come home to take it off.
You know, it's tough with trees because if they're really big, they're tough to pole saw down. Sometimes you have to have somebody climb up to get them, just to cut them, to get the last little bit that they're holding on to. But I got to tell you, like, if you can, go grab a Ryobi chainsaw. They're cheap. They're not, super expensive. They're easy.
No, I have a chainsaw. I'm just not going to climb up on the roof.
Yeah, that's the truth. I know.
The last hurricane, I had limbs fall in my driveway. Not branches.
Yeah,
I mean, limbs. This is an old oak tree, and you know how Florida is about oak trees, about cutting them down, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're like, you can't cut the ding dang trees down.
Yeah.
I pulled out my hacksaw, chainsaw. I'm sorry, my chainsaw, and I had to chainsaw myself out of the driveway. Because I couldn't move that big branch by myself, and he was activated already down to Fort Myers. So. Oh,
geez, Oh, goodness. Well, it's just one of those gigs, but yeah, no, I've got 80-foot to 100-foot pine trees on the front side that have been here forever, on this island forever. And I got to tell you, they drop so much, the little needle thingies, they drop the pine tree needles, they drop the pine tree cones, they drop all these little pine, branches. We had a giant one fall down. So way back in the day, around 10 years ago, I rebuilt a military tank trailer because I wanted to haul trucks around that had advertisements for the law firm on the side of them that were like vintage cool trucks. And the bottom line is I got the trailer done. I never got one of those trucks fully completed, but I sold the trucks off, but I kept the trailer. A giant branch fell on the trailer, but it didn't matter because it's the smallest metal on it is 1/4 inch thick. So, I mean, you could literally drive a Sherman tank up on that thing and it wouldn't budge. So, yeah.
Do you know those funky pine trees kind of looking things that they have in Florida?
I mean, I have like probably 12 different types of which one though?
The really funky looking ones. They look like pine trees, but I don't know what they are.
Oh, the fox palms.
The last hurricane, the wind, not this one, not Nicole, but the one before, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
It stripped all the branches off that tree. And during the hurricane, I heard those things hitting my house.
Sure. Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah. My insurance gave me a 13-point list before I was allowed to buy this house. And so basically I got clearance, came on the property, fixed everything, which allowed me to get my mortgage to buy this place in 2019. But one of the big things was cutting all the trees that were, next to or close to or whatever the house. And I got to tell you that was some tricky work because in Florida, the trees they don't crackle the same way. They're not dry. They're all wet on the inside to some degree. They're all soupy and meshy and fibrous. And so when you cut them, it's very difficult to know exactly which way they're going to roll or which way they're going to fall because they don't have that nice crackle and snap and fall over. But I'll say this, they're easier than the trees in New Jersey, which have a nice crackle to them when they fall, but there's a ton of vines in between the canopies of all the trees. So even when you cut down a 75-foot tree, it could literally just stand directly up based on the other trees holding it. So you don't know which way it's going to fall until a wind catches it and blows it, which means it's like an instant terrible death trap of a tree. But having gone to New Jersey and basically cleared out all the trails, which totaled a couple hundred trees, I can tell you I've earned my arborist badge. So indeed.
There you go.
Yeah. But I'll catch you later. Shoot me that email and then we'll work on it and kind of go from there,
Yeah, because I'd like to make a little more money before I retire.
Yeah, for sure. And that's another thing too. Like you're bringing up the future of 2023. Like there's a lot of retired and disabled people that are going to have to work to go ahead and be able to afford, their rental increase, their food bill increase, all that stuff. So the most important rules that I think.
And also, if I make more money, does that contribute to how much money I will make on my Social Security check in the future, or no?
It cuts off after a certain point. I don't remember the exact rule, but I think the rule changes at like 60 or something. And then it changes again at like right before the full retirement age. But basically, it's somewhere around there. They cut you off of the traditional algorithm, and then they just do like a separate algorithm for those remaining years before you hit retirement.
Okay.
I'd have to look it up though, because it's been like 4 years since I've read it, so I'd have to look it up. Yeah, that's another thing. Throw that in the email. I'll do a video on it.
Okay, I certainly will. Thank you so much for your time this evening. I appreciate you so much. I hope everybody else does too.
Oh, thank you. Well, you have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Oh, and how can I send you a contribution without YouTube taking money?
Oh, it's the best way is my student loans. So there's a thing for, like, here, if you go to Google and you go to, let me see, hold on. I have to pull up the thing. So if you just type into Google Walter Hnot student loans, so my name, student loans, there's a GoFundMe page.
Wait a minute. Let me write this down.
Yeah.
Walter.
So Walter Hnot, so HNOT is the last name, and then student loans, and then GoFundMe, and that's basically, and there's a bunch of recent donations that I've got to respond to. I just, between the horse farm and the hurricanes, I've been really just stuck.
Walter Hnot, student loan.
And GoFundMe, and GoFundMe is like
GoFundMe.
Yeah, you know what it is. It's one of those, like, kind of, yeah. But yeah, my student loans are crazy. They're going to be going back up to over 1,800 to I think 1,900 shortly. So I'm just like,
I just want. I mean, I just don't want to have made too much money and like really like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I totally, look, I get it, because the money just isn't worth what it used to. I did a video the other day where I was like looking at the structure, or no, I wrote the script for it, but I didn't get a chance to do it. But if you look at the structure of how it used to work, going all the way back to the original settlers and and then before that, which are the natives, and how they worked the land and were able to survive on it. It's an interesting study to see how this land, America, what it is now, started out and how people earned their way. And it's just every year, more people have to work more hours, more people have to work more aggressively to be able to just cover the bills. And it's not good, because like hobbies are becoming like a distant memory, and retirement used to be when you had a chance to, like, experience hobbies in life and RV all over the place and go boating.
Years ago, when the settlers first came here, there was nothing here.
Yeah. Well,
they had to work so hard.
Yeah. But it was different then, because they were essentially, now granted, they worked day and night. They were the business owners of the first settlements of America. Totally granted. But if you look at the evolution of that, and you look at basically what money was worth, we went through this weird period where the middle class were just so empowered. The working class were so empowered. And now we're going back to the kings and queens, the royalty, the dukes, the magistrates, we're going back to this world where those individuals are the ruling class. And people just can't afford.
You're ruling class, hon.
Yeah, well, and that's, and that's not good. The future is, unfortunately, more and more people becoming like a slave to food, which is, look, and I was just in farm.
Government is getting too big. It's getting too big, and they're getting too much money.
So what I've seen in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York, because I was there for 3 weeks, a lot of the corn that was grown, that was traditionally to be made and used for human corn consumption, is being basically cut down, chopped up, and used for cattle production because they didn't get enough rain. So corn is going to go way, way up in price on the East Coast of the U.S., and it's just not good. It's scary, because people don't realize, like, fruit and vegetables, the price of those is just going to go way up. And, there aren't a ton of farms out there that have the wherewithal funds or machinery to set up special watering units to go up and down these tiny lines. And remember too, the Northeast is not like the Midwest. Like you don't have giant squares of land where they're just squared off acres. Like a lot of the farmland.
No, but there's also problems because people are not getting the fertilizer. They don't have the diesel fuel. The diesel fuel is costing more.
Yeah.
And prices are even to go even higher up than they are at the present time. I work in, I had 20 years of banking and 10 years in insurance.
Sure.
And right now I'm working for a food broker.
Sure. Oh, so
And,
you know big time. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm seeing shortages everywhere. And, you know, the distributors are asking me, where's my product? I'm like, it's not there, and they might not have it until 2023.
Yep.
On major items that people might use every day.
Yep. Yeah.
And, you know, I call my friends. I'm like, you know, you better get some of this now. You get it.
Yeah.
Stock, if you like it, get it. Get it
Yeah.
now. Stock it up. You know, make your pantry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I literally, with New Jersey, I've been ordering a bunch of those like Campbell's soup combo packs and stuff like that. I keep getting updates on security measures that are happening basically internationally, and Russia is doing some very naughty things, and I'm going to ask him to come on and do some specific shows. But what's happening is he's starting to do a troop withdrawal of major locations, which you don't ever expect Putin to do. But a troop withdrawal means he's either giving up, repositioning for a big attack, or he's going to use small, kiloton, not megaton, like smaller kiloton based nuclear missiles. Right. So, which is not good. I mean, and remember too, like, I don't know how to, I'm glad I'm not in a position where I have to figure out what to do in a nuclear situation like that, because nobody's ever that sure what happened. You know, nobody's ever like, this happened on this day by this person because of this reason.
Yeah, you can't live to think tomorrow might be the last day. You just have to live, and you just have to breathe.
Yeah, I agree. And get hit by hurricanes. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well, you know, I could have done without this one, but the last one I really could have done without. But
yeah, Ian was bad. Ian had high winds.
I was out with power for like 3 days. It really, you know, ruined everything in my. I have like, you know, everybody has like a spare fridge, like, you know, for parties. Lost everything, and they were chock full.
And what people don't realize is that the most expensive wheels that they're going to be driving are the shopping cart. And it's just, you know, when you lose it in a hurricane, some of these groups pay you back, but then you got to prove it. So you better save your receipts. It's just becoming a different way of living, you know? Yeah.
It certainly is. But anyway, thank God I had enough money. You know, thank God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank God.
Oh. Well, Madame, I will catch you a little bit later. You have a wonderful, wonderful night.
All right, you take care of yourself.
Thank you so much.
And you are a wonderful person, giving all your time to help everybody.
Oh, thank you. You know, oh, well, I'll catch you a little later, and whatchamacallit, I'll probably do like 2 more phone calls, and then I've got to take my dogs out. But thank you so much for that. You know.
Yeah, I got to take my dogs out. Well, not my dogs. They're my son's dogs. He's, you know, was activated for the hurricane, so. I'm the babysitter.
That's my mom is too, along with my sister. I've got one of the top vets in the country, my sister. And every time I told her, you know, every time there's a little problem, you better take their butts down to the hospital and get them treated because they are important. So, indeed.
Yeah, so I got to take the girls out shortly. After your show, I will take the girls out and give them a little treat and let them go nee-na-noo, night-night.
Oh, very good. Well, I'll catch you later, and all the best to you and your doggies.
All right, you too, and you and your puppies.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Perfect. So, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and really quickly, I've got to let Sweetie out. She's just come over. I got to find a sticky real quick. And Sweetie basically is now trying to maneuver the table, the desk, whatever she can. And, of course, I can't find a sticky when I need one. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. Oh, and I don't know how I'm going to attach that either. And I don't have any sticky notes that aren't used. All of my sticky notes I found them. Hold on. Here we go. Guys, give me a total of, well, let's do this. Are there any other callers that want to call in? If there are, I'm going to go ahead and put the sticky on the screen, and then I'll be back for those callers in exactly 30 seconds. So let me just go ahead and do the pink screen. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Here we go, guys. All right, 30 seconds starting now. Come on, sweetie. Come on. Come on. Go this way. Go this way. Come on. Come on, child. Sweet. Come on. Go up. Go. Come on. Go. Okay, we're back. Awesome. So if there are any additional calls, we're going to go ahead and put it into basically this section right here. There were a bunch of calls that came in. I didn't call them back because I just wanted to see if there anybody that wanted to call during the recent time. Anybody that called in with an anonymous number, I can't call you back. I'm going to give 10 seconds. 10 seconds for the next caller. All right, we got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No more callers. Guys, you have a wonderful, wonderful night. I will catch you later, and we'll go from there. Thank you so much for tuning in. A huge thank you to those who donated funds. I really appreciate it. Tomorrow, I think, is a federal holiday. Please, please talk to a veteran. Please thank them for their service. I will catch you a little bit later. Thank you, Shirley, for the donation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will catch you guys a little bit later, and we'll go from there. Thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.